Many people, myself included, have multiple areas of life they would like to improve. For example, I would like to reach more people with my writing, to lift heavier weights at the gym, and to start practicing mindfulness more consistently. Those are just a few of the goals I find desirable, and you probably have a long list yourself. The problem is, if we are committed to working hard on our goals, our natural tendency is to revert back to our old habits at some point. Making a permanent lifestyle change is really difficult. If you want to master multiple habits and stick to them for good, then you need to figure out how to be consistent. How can you do that? Well, here's one of the most robust findings from psychology research on how to actually follow through on your goals. Research has shown that you are 2 to 3 times more likely to stick with your habits if you make a specific plan for when, where, and how you will perform the behavior. For example, in one study, scientists asked people to fill out this sentence. During the next week, I will partake in at least 20 minutes of vigorous exercise on blank day at blank time of day at this blank place. Researchers found that people who filled out this sentence were 2 to 3 times more likely to actually exercise compared to a control group who did not make plans for their future behavior. Psychologists call these specific plans implementation intentions because they state when, where, and how you intend to implement a particular behavior. This finding is well proven and has been repeated in hundreds of studies across a broad range of areas. For example, implementation intentions have been found to increase the odds that people will start exercising, begin recycling, stick to studying, and even stop smoking. However, and this is crucial to understand, follow-up research has discovered implementation intentions only work when you focus on one thing at a time. In fact, researchers found that people who try to accomplish multiple goals were less committed and less likely to succeed than those who focus on a single goal. This is important, so let me repeat. Developing a specific plan for when, where, and how you will stick to a new habit will dramatically increase the odds that you will actually follow through, but only if you follow through on one thing. When you begin practicing a new habit, it requires a lot of conscious effort to remember to do it. After a while, however, the pattern of behavior becomes easier. Eventually, your new habit becomes a more normal routine and the process is more or less mindless and automatic. Researchers have a fancy term for this process called automaticity. Automaticity is the ability to perform a behavior without thinking about each step, which allows a pattern to become automatic and habitual. But here's the thing. Automaticity only occurs as a result of lots of repetition and practice. The more reps you put in, the more automatic the behavior becomes. The most important thing to note is that there is some tipping point at which new habits become more or less automatic. The time it takes to build a habit depends on many factors, including how difficult the habit is, what your environment is, your genetics, and more. Alright, let's review what's been suggested so far. 1. You are 2 or 3 times more likely to follow through with a habit if you make a specific plan for when, where, and how you're going to implement it. Number 2, you should focus entirely on one thing. Research has found that implementation intentions do not work if you try to improve multiple habits at the same time. Research has also shown that any given habit becomes more automatic with more practice. On average, it takes at least 2 months for a new habit to become automatic behaviors. The counterintuitive insight from all this research is that the best way to change your entire life is by not changing your entire life. Funny, isn't it? Instead, it is best to focus on a specific habit, work on it until you master it, and then make it an automatic part of your life. Then repeat the process for the next habit you want to change. Punchline is this. Try to focus on one thing at a time, and that's it.